These are some of the Kirkland Southwest Scout leaders. KSW leaders are always working hard to deliver an effective program for all sections.
Yeah, sometimes it's frustrating to get my own kids to get off the TV and video games and to get them to go and play outside.
How has Scouts offered an alternative to that?
Well, so what I love about Scouts, and I grew up doing Scouts, and it's all about the outdoors, getting them to learn about nature, learn about the environment, and really get them outside and learning different skills that you really wouldn't learn anywhere else. You know, this could be stuff like setting up, going camping, setting up tents. This could be learning about knots. This could be all sorts of different things. And within Scouting, we do it in terms of adventures, which you'll hear a lot about in this video. So it's also a really good way as a father, especially, to be able to get a more deep involvement with my child, which is something that I guess as a father, I don't always get to spend that much time with my kids. So that's also a really nice advantage to Scouting.
So what was one of the reasons that you joined as a leader?
Well, for me, really, it was, I've been in Scouts when I was a lot younger, but it was also one way to develop a closer relationship with my two boys. It gives me a chance to introduce them to something I was introduced to when I was a kid, but also develop that father-son relationship, get it to be a little bit stronger. And Scouts overall allows us to do a lot of different things that even I wouldn't have thought of myself as a parent, trying to do different things.
Yeah, you know, you bring up being kids. I was a Cub myself, and it was some of the best moments that I remember. I remember being scared, dunking my head in the apple, because we had apple bobbing, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But I saw how brave all the other kids doing it, you know, and it kind of inspired me a little bit, because there's so many things that a lot of kids are good at, and you get to see kids being challenged at all kinds of things, not only just hockey. You know, at hockey, if you're not good at hockey, you're not gonna feel good about yourself.
Right.
But it's such a wide variety of stuff. Yeah. And it's the only club I can think of that challenges you on sports, on different skills, on interviewing people, on talking to people, basically being a good citizen. I mean, all the messages in Scout are really part of the Canadian fabric that we think of what a child should be and exposed to when they're kids. Yeah. And that excites me.
I actually have I guess he's the son of my cousin who's in Scotland. He's in the Sea Scouts. And he's also in what do you call it, the Navy cadets. And so I asked him what the difference was between the Scouts and the cadets, and he said the cadets is a great program, but you're taught to follow the rules. So you have to do certain things and you have to follow. He says, whereas the Sea Scouts is something, and this is not Scouts Canada, this is over in Scotland, they teach you how to think for yourself.
That's right.
And how to, you know, how to figure stuff out. So it's very different, and this is really more how, I mean, I even saw at that time how the way I think about things actually was unknown to me, but actually everything I learned in Scouts when I was a kid taught me a bit to think the way, like, you know, like planning a trip. I'll plan different ways to get them. Okay, make sure you have enough gas, make sure you have the right stuff in the car in case of emergencies, you know, like I'll keep stuff in winter in case of emergencies, things like that. So I mean, I think it's a big part of, as you say, getting our kids to become responsible citizens, and just getting them to be more considerate and thoughtful about you know, how to do things. You
know, you bring up a really good point, because you're in the military, you follow rules, but if you're in Scouts and you're a scouter, you know, Baden-Powell used to talk about this a lot. Baden-Powell would do some scouting, and he would hide secret messages in drawings of a butterfly, right? And that shows you that you have to make things up as you go along. They were at the siege of Mafeking, and they had to pretend that they had searchlights at every tower and every fortification that they had around the town. but they only had one light. So in the middle of the night, they would turn on the light at one tower, fire a couple of shots, turn off the light, and then go to another tower.
Really?
To make the Boers think that they had machine guns and lights at every single tower. They pretended that they were burying mines.
Oh wow!
You know, so they had to. It was a total mind game, and if you know, the whole thing of a scout is someone who goes out and sees how close the enemy is, and then report back. You have to have some wits about you. You have to be brave.
Yeah.
And one thing that Baden Powell always used to talk about is pluck. You have to have pluck.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we're teaching our kids, is how to be like dynamic leaders, basically. Yeah. And one of the things I'm really happy that Scouts Canada did is they really revamped the leadership program. Those little lessons that our kids did with, you know, giving up the lollipop or building a fort and planning it before. Yeah. That stuff is incredible. And at that age.
Well, one of the things I noticed, we try to definitely encourage it within the Beavers, and then as the kids are growing up, but particularly at Beavers, I find, you know, these kids are all between 5 and 7, and not the brown tails, the earlier ones, but as soon as they're blue tails or white tails, what we intentionally try to do is try to get the 6 and the 7-year-olds to help the 5-year-olds. So if they're doing a craft or something, we'll try to get, oh, can you know, if, for example, putting together a beaver buggy, like, you know, a leader can definitely help the brown tail putting together the beaver buggy, but what we try to do is we get the white tails to do it.
That's right, yes.
And the reason for that is because it's very, it doesn't happen very often that a white tail 7-year-old gets put in a position of kind of authority, of leadership. They're being told what to do at school, they're being taught to learn and stuff like that, but for that, just like, it could be like that 5 minutes, they're actually the leader, the teacher, and to a 5-year-old, and it really develops their leadership skills. And you know, I remember actually Michael, at one point we tried to have the Whitetails organize a game of the Beavers, and he came to me afterwards and said, you know, they're not listening to me. I said, well, now you see the challenges of leading a group of, you know, 5 and 6-year-olds, you know.
That's
like,
right. Yeah.
It's but this is what we're trying to teach them, and then he was able to develop some ways to get them to. I thought, okay, what do you think will help and get them to pay attention and stuff like that, and I'm able to work on that a little bit. So yeah, I think Scouts in general is a great way to teach our kids how to, you know, how to become the next generation of leaders.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Those are some important thoughts. It's nice to, you know, for the kids, they have to remember what they did and review their year. But, you know, I think for Scouts too, for Scouters, for Scout leaders, it's important as well. Well,
and we are always looking for Scout leaders, because the typical path of a leader is perhaps your kids will get involved, and then you want to be spending more time with them as a parent. You follow them maybe through Beavers, through Cubs, through Scouts, and then typically the leaders will go on to do other things as the kids do as well. It may be after ventures or something, but this way we are always looking for new parents, new help to be parents to be involved with the group, because it is constantly changing, and this is the thing, the Scouts program is constantly changing, and it's never, I've been doing it for about 6-7 years now, and it's never even the same program every year. Each year we try to improve upon it and try to you know, use some of the same key messages, but try to improve it all the time. If you have any questions about scouting, just you know, drop us a comment here. Subscribe.
Hit the bell. Hit the subscribe bell.
Hit the thumbs up.
Yeah. All right. So this is Rascal and Thunder signing off from Scouts Canada. Bye.
To respect the country and the beliefs.
To help other people at all times.
To help other people at all times.
And to carry out the spirit of the Scout law.
And to carry out the spirit of the Scout law.
Well, so welcome, KSW. I guess.
And you can grab your own neckerchief.
You have your neckerchief, and you didn't see that in the pocket.
No. There's a disinfectant bottle, right?
Smash those, they're thinner, it'll
Yeah.
be easier to... Okay, so got my toe hip, but I want to be coming this way, because if I go this way, it's going to turn. So I want to go the opposite way, is that right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do some shear lashings, okay? Because you want to stay strong in between.
Right.
So let's try a few of the ropes that we still have left. Let's do a few shear lashings on those. Right? Because you want something supporting this. So if you put a pole from there to there, lashed it, then put this, you'd have a whole thing underneath.
Yeah. That's smart.
Hold on.
Yeah.
That is the most unstable. You see what I'm trying to do?
Height of it, there were 3 ICUs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Running. They transferred the UAV. With hours of
You can grab onto these things here.
So now do you trust it?
There's a, no, there, that's right. That's right, you got it. Hold on there,
Try to
hold on
spread,
there.
lie on it.
Now lie down.
Easier.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That's it. You can sleep up there now.
Good night.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll come back in the morning.
Look at that, bud.
step ladder away. He's done.
Fabulous.
It's not a club. You actually start off separate hands, and as you come down, you go in. So you end up.
Oh, nice.
And this is actually a splitting axe, so the weight is doing well over half the work. So I said you aim just ahead, because your arms will stretch with the weight. You okay? Yeah. I got 2 legs. It's naughty, so it's not surprising that it's not quote unquote screwed. That's how you go. And you just go.